Hello, my name is Ira. So, some time back, I talked a little bit about what gender dysphoria feels like. So, I want to try again to do it, except I want to try a little bit differently. Hopefully this one works out a bit better. Anyways, gender dysphoria. It sucks, in case you just happened to be wondering. It's not very much fun. However, how in the world do you possibly describe it? Yeah, I still don't really have any idea. I've tried to figure out how to figure out the words to really describe what gender dysphoria feels like. And as of yet, it hasn't really worked. I still don't know how to really put it into words. However, I do have a bit of an insight into it. So, I'm just going to give a scenario. See how this goes. So, let's just say you are you. I know, pretty simple. But hang with me for a bit. You know, lots of descriptions of gender dysphoria are born male wanting to be a girl, or born a girl wanting to be a boy. That's great and all, but it doesn't exactly make sense to someone that doesn't actively feel those things. I mean, talk to me when I was like 10, and okay, probably a bad example. I don't remember if I had those feelings when I was 10, but let's just for sake of argument, talk to me when I was 10, and I wouldn't have any idea what you were talking about. I'm going to try and use that as a basis. Gender dysphoria, unless you actually feel it and experience it, it's really hard to put into words, at least for me. Because you can try to say, oh, I want to be someone else, I don't feel comfortable as myself, or whatever. But that doesn't really convey what the feeling is. Like, kind of how I said it in my first video. Unless you feel it, I mean, if you don't feel it, no words will be enough. But if you do feel it, then no words are necessary. However, I might have some words to describe it, at least a little. So, imagine this. You are yourself. You're not someone else, you're not the opposite gender growing up, you are yourself. Pretty boring, not all that interesting. Well now, all of a sudden, you hit puberty. Okay, puberty affects all of us. And let's just say, for example, you are a normal guy, male, happy with it. Well, what if, when you hit puberty, you start to grow boobs? Your voice doesn't drop like everyone else's. You're surrounded with boys who have voices that have a really deep rock and roll voice, like they can shake the floor with how deep their voices get. They grow up, they get tall, they grow muscle. Like, you're surrounded by all of these other boys who grow up into men. But that doesn't happen to you. Instead, you grow boobs. Your voice goes up. Every day, you look more and more like a girl, which is wrong. Like, people start to see you as a girl. People start to see you as something you are not. Someone that you aren't. You go to the store, and everyone says, ma'am. You try to correct them. You try and say, actually, I'm a guy. But your voice is so high, no one could possibly believe you. I mean, you're just wrong. Nature's right. Your body changed on its own, right? So, yeah. that feeling of becoming someone that you aren't, that's more of what dysphoria is like. It's not wanting to be the other gender or the other sex or whatever. It's you not being yourself, not being right, not being me. I'm not sure if that makes much sense, but I'm trying. Dysphoria, it sucks. Because every time you look in the mirror, you see someone that's not you. And you can't change it. You can't control what you've become. It's like if you were to suddenly grow a third leg. Or, I don't know. Can't think of any other examples, but it's not about wanting to be someone else. It's about wanting to be yourself. Say for a straight guy that puberty goes in the exact opposite direction, turns him into a woman, well, I feel like they'd really, really want to be a normal guy, a normal looking guy. A lot taller, with muscle, and, you know, whole 9 yards. That is what being trans is like. Where it doesn't feel right, your body, anymore. Maybe it did at one point in time, but it changed, and it's no longer right. It's no longer you. Now, you're trying to pretend to be someone you're not, because when you're trying to be yourself, well, everyone hates you. Everyone calls you wrong. Everyone says that you're wrong. And the hard part is, your body agrees. Your body betrays you and goes against everything that you want from it. You want it to change. I mean, if I could have turned into a girl at any point in the past decade, if I could have been handed a magical button, where if I pressed that magic button, I would suddenly be completely changed, become the girl that I want to be, you would not have time to blink before I press that stinking button. So, dysphoria, gender dysphoria is not, it's a lot more normal than most people like to think of it as. That's not worded right. It's a lot more normal than you typically think. Because you're not trying to be someone else. You're trying to be yourself. So, I really hope that explains something, at least a little. Because, well, I've said it before, I'll say it plenty of times more, but speaking is difficult for me. It's really hard, finding the right words, getting the words to come out right, just thinking through things like other people and getting ideas. It's hard for me. So, I really hope that this little bit of an explanation can mean something to you. Because dysphoria sucks. It really does. It's not fun. It sucks. And I hope that describes just a little bit about what's so bad about it. Why it hurts, why it sucks, why it's so difficult to live with.